Hello, my name is Suzanne van Montfort and I am a research director at Explory. Depending on your data and insight requirements, you may find that you need some help, but figuring out exactly what you need, who can help you and how to get started can be tricky. In this video, I will cover the difference between partners and suppliers and to what situations these are better suited. I will then focus on the process of selecting partners. This comprises of two elements: what you need to tell them and what they need to share with you. When talking about the distinction between partners and suppliers, suppliers tend to provide a particular product or service, usually to standard specifications. Because of this standardization, they don't need to understand quite as much about your business or your objectives. This means they often have a transactional approach. They will sell you their product, you can use it, and then you're done. They deliver a product or service for a specific, predefined amount of time. Partners, on the other hand, tailor their products or services to your individual needs. To do this properly, they need a close understanding of your business and your objectives. This lends itself more to a long-term relationship where you will often work in close collaboration. Let me use an example. A supplier will deliver paper napkins for a specific event. These napkins are the same, regardless of whether they are used for a corporate event or a wedding. You as a client will tell them how many napkins you need, and the supplier will sell these to you and deliver them to your door. Done and dusted. Instead, a catering partner will ensure you have all necessary products and ingredients for your event, and they will make sure that the food and drink is prepared well, on time, and hopefully delicious. They may also advise you on menu trends or give you different options and recommendations around things like meat-free menus, sustainable sourcing, local ingredients, etc. This supplier-partner distinction can also be seen among event data and insight providers. Many event technology platforms will come with their own analytics and dashboard suites. The advantage is that these tend to be quick, simple to use, and they can have some helpful functionalities. You can buy access as part of a wider technology transaction, and then it's plug and play, a typical supplier relationship. Sometimes that's all you need. It can also be cost effective, especially if you already have the time and skills in-house to interpret your data. However, if your insight needs are a bit more complex and unusual, standard functionalities on event tech platforms can often be difficult to customize. There can also be limitations in the level of insight that standard products are built to deliver. Many don't provide any context or benchmarks, let alone any commentary about what your results mean or what you can do with them. So if you're not particularly data savvy, or if you're simply time poor, you may struggle to get much insight and value out of these standard analytics. If that sounds like you, you may need a different type of solution that fits better within the partnership model. So when you're looking to outsource data and analysis or reporting, it's important to have clarity about what exactly it is that you want to be able to do with your data. Once you know this, you can work your way back to identify what analytics or reports you need. That, in turn, will give you a steer as to whether you should be looking for a partner or a supplier. If you do decide that you need a data supplier, a standard procurement process is likely to work well. This is the same for data providers as it is for other suppliers that you may be working with in other areas. If you find yourself needing a partner, I have some tips and tricks to guide you through the briefing process. Now, I have worked in research for over a decade, and I can't tell you how many times I've had briefs from clients that are trying to be helpful by drafting the exact survey questions they want us to ask before I even have the chance to talk to them. It's lovely of them to put in the time and the effort, but unfortunately, it's also putting the cart before the horse. Instead, I would always recommend starting with sharing your goals and the context behind these, by showing the big picture before diving into the details. That means telling your partners what you're hoping to achieve, why this is important to you, what your underlying challenges and priorities are, the decisions that you're looking to make based on the insights, who your key stakeholders are and what these are most interested in. And that will give a good partner who understands the situation, your objectives, any constraints, and who knows their own business or profession well, the ability to then advise you on the approach. Taking the time to talk them through this will help them give you what you want, rather than only what you ask for. After you discuss your goals, it is time to go through the process. This should cover things like, what data do you already have? What are the gaps in your data that you would like to fill? Are there any complexities around data being on different systems, in different formats, even in different languages perhaps? What deliverables do you need? Do you want raw data that you can manipulate yourself? Finished reports with detailed analysis, or perhaps branded visuals? Key timings and deadlines, important to discuss as well. What do you need by when? An indication of your available budget is always helpful to make sure that you don't get presented with a solution that may solve all your issues, but is beyond anything that you can afford. What your procurement decision-making process looks like is helpful to share as well, and of course the main points of contact at your side. There are always so many moving parts to any complex project. So giving clarity early on about practicalities such as these will avoid confusion, delays, and disappointment further down the line. But of course, it's not all on you. Your potential partner should also give you the information and the confidence that you need to decide to work with them. In many cases, they will share this information without you needing to ask. But if they don't, there are a number of areas I recommend you do ask them about. Make sure that you understand what their company's focus and capability is. How much expertise do they have in delivering the sort of thing that you are after? What is their suggested approach for achieving your aims? And what would the process of working with them look like? What will they need from you? This is helpful to ask so that you can plan your own internal resourcing accordingly. When can they deliver what you need? Does this match your own deadlines, or will you need to adjust your timings accordingly? What will it cost? And what does that depend on? Often projects can be scaled up or down depending on the time and budget that you have available. So make sure that you understand where the flexibility is and what the implications are if you do decide to change the scope of your project. And who will be your main point of contact? You want to know who you need to talk to and who you can call if you have any questions or requests. In general, do encourage any potential partners to be open and upfront about any limitations to what they can deliver so you can make an informed decision. If someone promises you everything you want, whenever you want, for however much money you have, that should set alarm bells ringing. Remember, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Overall, make sure that you take your time, consult the appropriate stakeholders early on, and find someone you know that you can work with. There is a temptation to dive straight into things and try to get results as soon as possible, but that can be a false economy. By taking the time at the start of the relationship to really scope things out and develop a plan, you will save yourself a significant time and headache along the way. Depending on your role in your organization, the decision may just be up to you, or you may have a complex stakeholder landscape to navigate. If it is the latter, make sure that you take along your stakeholders and get their support early on. There is nothing more frustrating than to have a great idea, a great partner, a great plan that you are ready to execute, and everything gets put on hold or even cancelled at the last minute because you don't have the right buy-in internally. Last but not least, bear in mind what we covered earlier about having long-term collaborative relationships with your data and insight partners. Make sure you find someone that you trust and enjoy working with, as that is exactly what you'll be doing.